Hello and welcome. I am Oles Garjuk and you're watching Head to Head with UATV. Today we're talking about people with disabilities who changed the world. This is the name of an international project which has been launched in Europe. Stiven Hawking, Franklin Roosevelt and Andrea Boccelli are some of the well-known featured individuals. A Ukrainian is also included on this list. Valeriy Sushkevich, the president of the National Paralympic Committee of Ukraine. He has been recognized as a man who continues to change the world. And today we're lucky to have Mr. Sushkevich in our studio. Hello and thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Valeriy.
It's a pleasure to have you in this studio. So could you please tell us a bit more about this project and about the personalities that have been recognized as the ones who are changing the world?
First of all, I must say to you, this was a big surprise for me. Because
you mean big surprise that you have been included?
I am invited to this project. Because many years I work in my country, in Ukraine, and I work in usually on the two directions. First, it's human rights people with disability. It's the main point, main direction. I work in this direction more than 40 years. And second, or maybe not second, a very close direction in the Paralympic movement in Ukraine, in the world, in Europe. And it's a very harmonic direction and additional both, mutual both, this direction, because it's very important in our post-Soviet society. What is it people with disability in Ukraine? What is it the person with disability in the post-Soviet countries like Ukraine? Because mentality, society, mentality, any person in our country have a special point connect the post-Soviet mentality.
Today, you mean people's attitude and also the lack of adoption of living conditions, of living environment?
I must say to you today that in the Soviet Union, main problem people with disability, it is social isolation. It must be this kind of person, must be distance from society. Because Soviet society must be beautiful, nice, without the problem, without the people with disability. It's not so good picture. It must be outside. Please, sitting in the flat, will be take for you some pension, some social supporting, and that all. Please. It's for you good, and especially it's very good for the Soviet pictures, Soviet society.
This is a very troubling attitude, but since you are a fighter against this, probably this was the reason that you have been included into this list among others. Don't you think?
I won't say to you that after the Soviet Union died, and during the Soviet Union present, like, for example, I am like children, like young boy, later in the like student, I every day, all my life in the Soviet Union, I fight for my human right. I want was amount of the able-bodied people. I don't want isolation. And it's not my mentality like children. My father and mother very promote me like able-bodied spirit person, you understand? Because disability is here and your eyes, my disability in your eyes, excuse me, it's like, for example, you understand? If somebody look me in the Soviet street, oh my God, it's disabled man, boy. I will say to you about the very unusual event in my life. Many years ago, about 20 years ago, I am elected in the Verkhovna Rada.
Yes, you're a member of parliament.
Parliament of the Ukraine. And when I was elected, first my visited to the parliament, I go to the security before the door. Security look, I on the crutches, very difficult walk because disability. He looked to me and say, "Who is it? It's not as possible that you can go in parliament. Why? Your disability.
He couldn't believe that you can be a member of parliament.
Look my document, like member of the Ukraine parliament, and say, oh no, why no? I must call, he answered to me, I must call to the special chairman of security. After that, I will be decided, you can or no go to the parliament. I was very angry. I was young and very angry. Why?
This is so shocking.
It's the reality of the post-Soviet society on the high level. And after that, many years I fight for the human rights people with disability. And today we have many new steps in our society. You change it, transform in our society. Not all. Today, in our country, we have quite a big level of the discrimination and problem with the human rights people with disability. But we have some success. We have some good steps. And if we say about the Paralympic movement, I must say to you that post-Soviet society, real understanding, especially state power person in our country, for example, President of Ukraine, ministers, prime ministers, understanding what is it, who is it, people with disability, blind, wheelchair, with amputation, crutches, prostheses, understand after that these blind and disability people up flag, national flag of the Ukraine in the world after victory Paralympic.
Yes, Paralympic victories.
And in this moment, many people in the state power understand, oh, it's possible that person with disability can make some things for our country.
Can have achievements, and we can be proud of people who have disabilities. I am very sorry for these people who are expressing this intolerance and this disacceptance, and this is very sad about our society. And it is said that they're brave enough. Still, Ukraine, as you said, is trying to catch up on the pace in adopting a kind of infrastructure or living surroundings to the standards, to the international standards, to the standards that people with disabilities could use the infrastructure and stuff. But you said an important issue, changing, transformation of the society. Could you please provide us with some information, what has been done or what has been changed? You said that there is a big level of discrimination in Ukraine, but probably something has changed, right?
I want to say to you that today we have real transform in our country in many directions. 2 days ago, I was at a special sitting of the Ukraine government, and I have special speech connect the our success in any direction of our life from the all ministers of government. I say that today, most of ministers of the Ukraine walking in the direction of the human rights people with disability. For example, today very important that we have new standard, building standard, normative for building. For example, connect the no steps, wide of door, toilets, etc., 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 and street non-accessible, accessible. And I want to say to you that if you walking in our country, any city, for example, Kyiv, we have many trams. Sometimes these trams not so good. It's happened.
Yes, sometimes it is impossible to use them.
Yes, but many it's okay. Supermarket, apotheke, stadium, theater, and street. We have already changed it. Only one example. You remember in our country was Euro 2012, football. It's European event, must be push process accessible, because all Europe come to our country. And I will say to you, during the reconstruction airport of the Ukraine, most of airport today accessible for people with disability.
So these major events, they provoke the government to reconstruct everything.
Only one example, very important example, and it's very illustrated, very good illustrated, transform in our country. Airport Boryspil. Today, my opinion and many opinion our guests, it's one of the best connected accessible airport in the Europe. All accessible, good service, and it is real human right, people with disability in this airport. It's only one example.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also speaking of even of employment, since April this year, employers are obliged to equip jobs for people with disabilities, and you mentioned new building norms. So basically, all the new buildings that will be constructed are also have to be compliant with the new norms, and people with disabilities who will be employed in the office have to have no more than 50 meters access from the toilets, from drinking water devices, and also some kitchens or cafeterias. So let's hope that this is a change for better, and maybe the pace will become kind of faster, that we will speed up in these changes. The very last question, just to sum up our conversation. Unfortunately, there is so little time. You are the first Ukrainian on this list among other world-renowned people who are recognized as the ones who changed the world. And you have been the first among them included on this list. Basically, you started the list. Could you please tell us how important it is for you personally, and how important can it be for Ukrainians who are living with disabilities?
I will say to you that this event, European event, where me, together with Steve Cohen, Roosevelt, and
Andrea Boccelli, yes.
Boccelli, Beethoven, etc., is for me a big surprise, and I'm very, very impressed in this event. But it's very important that Ukraine in European society and people in Europe understand that Ukraine move to Europe,
moves
to
forward.
the standard of the human right people with disability. It is main achievement connect this project, and that Ukraine person present among these very heinous people in the Europe, in the world. And for me, it's the conclusion. Ukraine real move to the civilization standard of the world, connect the human right of people.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your personal contribution into this big fight for human rights. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Valeriy Sushkevich, President of the National Paralympic Committee of Ukraine. Thank you for watching Head to Head. I'm Oles Gardyuk. Goodbye.